So I remember just a couple years ago, I was helping out a friend, right? And this guy was kind of struggling. He was getting kicked out of his living situation. He was going through a breakup. And he wanted me to take him to one of those Mary Jane stores, if you know what I mean. He wanted to get some of the tincture to help him sleep or just to help him phase out of things. I don't really know. I wouldn't do it, but that's what he wanted, So I'm one of his dogs, so I was going to help him out. And this guy I knew for a long time, and we were touching on some things lightly. I don't know, just various things on the way over to the store. I was driving him. He didn't even have a damn car at the time. He lost his vehicle because of his financial situation that, honestly, he got himself into. But he looked over at me while I'm driving, right? And he brings up porn. And, oh, yeah, I've been watching, like, what happens in this and that and this and that. And he knew that I just think that stuff is bad, according to, like, his analysis, right? So he looks over at me and he says, there's nothing wrong with it. And I'm driving. Kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, oh, shit, I don't feel like getting into this deep philosophical shit. And I just said something like, well, I think there is. And I don't remember where the conversation went after that. I didn't really care. I don't need to guide this guy. You know what I mean? Like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make the damn thing drink, So I don't really care that much. I mean, it's not my prerogative. Yes, I wish the best for my homies. But, I mean, if you want to do this to your life, then I guess that's fine. Even though cumulatively, if all guys are doing this in theory, it'd probably lead to civilization destruction. So I guess you could say maybe it is my civil duty to try to point them out why, it's probably a bad idea. But nonetheless, that was a couple years ago. So we were like in our mid-30s, right? And maybe what I should have said to him was, because, I mean, he didn't get any you-know-what for a while, He probably didn't get a good, a good piece of tail in years. So I probably could have looked over at him and said, you know what? You're what's wrong with porn. Because unfortunately, that's where it leads. And I'm not mad at this guy, right? I wasn't upset. I mean, it was a bit offensive, the insulting of my intelligence, I guess you could say. But whatever, I forgive him. It was a while ago. So, porn, to put it briefly, it turns you into a beta. And do women want betas? The answer is no. Women want alphas. And if you ain't alpha enough, she's going to go find a guy who is. But that's not really what this video is about. Let's break it down a little bit. All right. Now, there is maybe one exception. What if you make your own porn? There's reasons why that could be arguably acceptable, but there's also some reasons as to why I think that could be to your detriment and maybe you won't want to do it. But nonetheless, so think about this, for instance. This is a new phenomena for the common male to have access to. This whole experience of opening up a screen, or however you go about it, and I think guys watch it on their cell phones and things like that, and having this audible visual, a pretty much exact replica of what you'd see with your own eyes, of guys getting it from a female, right? In various ways. What happens is, as you consume this stuff, of course it gets addictive, you begin to train your mind and your pee-pee to get acquainted with and accustomed to getting turned on by these experiences, right? Where you're sitting back relaxed on a couch or on a chair in your office desk or whatever, or in bed. I don't know where guys are watching this shit. at work, in your fucking car, I don't know. In the bathroom, on the bathroom break. You're training your mind and your body to be accustomed to being able to be on your own, sitting back, hiding in a little fucking corner, while watching other people do it. Okay? And what happens is you start finding the videos you like, and you save them and this and that, and then you get the exact angles and the exact audibles and visuals to your preference that turn you on the most, that hit those dopamine peaks the highest. And then you often go back to those ones. So you're optimizing your mind and body to be triggered by these certain variables, right? That are very specific. So the organic rising, if you will, no pun intended, ends up being more and more accustomed to these fineries, right? These refineries. And that's a big problem. Because you're training yourself to need this shit to get turned on. All right? And there's no reciprocation. Some would say a lot of the excitement and fun in a intimate experience with the women is the reciprocation you get, right? And there's none of that when you're just sitting there watching the video. So you're training your mind and your body to have zero reciprocation response and just to get up and climax and be done. So you often get it where if you're a guy and you're addicted to this shit and you finally get to experience something with a woman, it's like uncharted territories to an extent. And it's too real and it's too random and organic than what you're familiar with. You know, you're familiar with these direct images and these exact scenes with these sounds and these visuals, and that's all gone. So it often can lead to dysfunction at the least, where your dick doesn't get hard enough, you climax too soon, things like that. Because, I mean, basically when you're watching it, you're just kind of getting to the point. You know, you're kind of cutting to the chase. You can try to go about it and train yourself in other ways. But I mean, there are too many things working against you when you're training yourself to just have these certain parameters in a sexual experience where it's destroying your fucking mind. All right. I've probably been away from it for like about 10 years. And I never had that much of an issue with it. I mean, I think a lot of us know when we were in high school, a couple years after, it was just a normal thing, right? Like that's how it was conveyed through society, through our friend groups, through the media, entertainment. There's probably a reason for that. You know, this is a massive industry. It's probably one of the biggest industries in the world. To my understanding, 90% of content on the internet is some variation of porn consumption. So, I mean, that's a pretty big fucking industry. So you could probably bet your ass that if there's that much money and power involved in this, that these little studies you see of, oh, there's nothing wrong with watching it. How the fuck can you guess and think and say with any confidence that these aren't contrived, skewed, biased studies, fake studies? Saying, oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with watching it. Now here's some right here, $5.99 a month. You know what I mean? Fucking bullshit. But there are a couple other things wrong with it. So here's what I did back then. Is I just kind of knew there was something off. I was like, huh. So I sit here and I watch this shit. I relieve myself. And then I just want to sit back and play video games or something. And I found myself, I was in various relationships with attractive women. But I got out of one on my own accord in my mid-20s. And I was kind of scheming in my mind. I was like, I would like to have my own place where I'm not living with the women. My own apartment is all I really wanted at the time. I mean, now I have a house, and I own it too, kind of. You know, I don't rent it. But there's a lot of equity in it thanks to this economy, I guess, thanks to all that inflation that happened afterwards. Not that I'm going to utilize that equity, so it's kind of useless to me, but I'd rather have it the other way, where shit's cheap, but that's for another video. But I wanted to have my own place, so I get my own place, and I'm a hustler, right? So I kind of do my own thing as I will, and I have all this free time. And ideally, I wanted to have women coming in and out of there. Of course, it's kind of risky, you might get a disease or something, but that's kind of what I wanted at the time. And I found myself a couple times watching this stuff. And I was like, what the fuck? I just want to sit around now. I was like, maybe I should completely cut this shit out of my life. And then I'm going to be like drooling at the mouth, wanting some sexual stimulation. And it's going to leave me with no choice but to go out there and find it. Find somebody who's consensual, who I find to my appeasement, to my liking. And perhaps we could interact, if you know what I mean. So that's exactly what I did. And yeah, there were a couple nights where I'm sitting there bug-eyed. My dick was probably hard as a rod of steel, begging me to do something about it, but I didn't. I refused it. It didn't last long because I started finding them right away. Went out there, did the whole talk to the women, get the number thing. And I've done this before. It's just now that I finally had my place, it was like, now is the time to thrive. So why am I going to watch this shit? Even if it's once in a while, it's a complete waste of time. And it's getting in the way of my goal. It kills ambition. It kills your drive. It kills your motivation. So that's what I did. I cut it out. And of course, every fucking day, I was going to the grocery store. I was going to the mall. I was going downtown. I was going anywhere I could fucking think of. I was going to the little yarn stores and shit. That's where a lot of women work. The yarn stores are great. The stores that sell the fabrics and the little decorations and all that shit that women buy. Libraries. I go to libraries. And of course, it didn't take long at all. And I met the woman that I'm married with. That's just how it works. And now, granted, I had some things going for me. I'm 6'4". I got some muscles going on. You see that? And that wasn't perfect. My teeth were kind of fucked up, but I got braces since then. So, I think they look pretty good now. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. They're pretty straight. I could probably use some whitening, and it doesn't work good to wear a white shirt to contrast a perfect white compared to your teeth. But I don't really give a fuck right now in this video. And plus, I already got a good woman. She's upstairs right now, and we both stay home and we enjoy ourselves. And that's another important thing is when you have the woman, it's really, really important not to watch the porn. If you watch the porn when you're married, you're going to be relieving yourself of all those little nuances that build up to that climax. Because you're cutting to the chase, you're cheating. It's like a video game and you're just typing all the cheat codes and all of a sudden it's dull as fuck. Your dopamine shot and you just don't know what to do and you might just want to move on to the next one, I guess. But when you have a woman and you're not watching it every couple days or whatever your little cycle is with how, horny you get, it's going to have a natural buildup. And then you're going to be like, I need to climax here. So if you train yourself to only climax when it's in a situation with your partner, in my case, a woman, most guys who watch the fucking video, it's going to be a woman, then it's going to do you very, very well. Because in a sort of intimate encounter with a female, there's all these little nuances at play, with how the guy convinces her to do something with him. There's little things you could do. You could be attractive. You could flirt with her. You could do things for her. You could play the game. You could do whatever to get her to get aroused and want to do something with you. So all those little tiny nuances and your work at trying to get her to copulate with you or whatever, those are all ingrained in her nature as stimulation to get us where we need to be. Then we're energized, we feel powerful, we get shit done, we do chores, we work, we try to improve ourselves, we work out, we do all these little things are at work in that whole interaction with the woman and trying to get her to copulate with you. So it builds the relationship then, you know? And if you were to say just watch porn instead, you're not even in the game anymore. And here she is. And she's like, what the hell's going on? My guy's never, you know, or not nearly enough, trying to woo me, trying to impress me, trying to work to get what he's looking for here. Because you're just cheating. You're way down here. You're not having any social interaction with her. And you're just beating off to the porn. So boom, you get that spike and then you're just shot. And there's no incentive then to strive, to go forward, to conquer. You know, there's no incentive to do any of that. So there's other points to make in this video, but I'm not going to go there. I want it to be too long, and I'll save those for another video. But I mean, it screws up everything, man, and it destroys your social skills as well. Because like the example years and years ago, 10 years ago, it was probably 10 years ago from now, actually, where I just kind of made that executive decision. I was like, you know, this is a waste of time. This is getting in the way. This is inhibiting what I want. So I put it away, and it forces you to go out and interact, and it forces you to gain experience in your socialness when it comes to either trying to get women or trying to keep yours or trying to please yours or looking to please yourself. Because like I said, if you refuse to climax, unless if it's with your partner, then the only way to fucking please yourself is going to be to get her to do something for you. You know what I mean? So there's all those little social dynamics that build up. And that's all gone if you just look at the fucking screen and call it a day. Because then all your levels just shoot way to the bottom when you're done, and you just want to have a cigarette or something, or a sandwich, or then you just sit back and play video games or something. And that's that. But nonetheless, if you guys will like this video, subscribe to the page, hit the bell so you're notified next time I post a video, become a patron if you want to support the meditations, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace be with you.